Welcome to Design Your Destiny, your podcast for tapping into the power of your subconscious mind. In this next few minutes, allow me to show you how to tap into that power so that you can create success with ease, form deeper connections, and have greater presence in your relationships, and most importantly, find peace within yourself. My name is Penny Chason, and I'm your host. Hey, it's Penny here, and I want to talk to you about why hypnosis should be your first choice and not your last resort. I mean, let's face it, it's only been in the last year or two that hypnosis is really gaining traction in the mainstream. However, still the majority of people think of it as an option of last resort, or they've never heard of it. I know, right? That seems a little crazy. They've never heard of hypnosis until they are just desperately seeking something to overcome an issue, and a friend happens to mention hypnosis, or maybe they go on YouTube and they search on YouTube or Google, and they happen to see how hypnosis can help in a situation. One of the other things that really causes people to use hypnosis as a last resort, I've heard this before, is that someone told me, well, I was afraid that if hypnosis works, then it meant there was something wrong with me in my head. No, there's nothing wrong with you in your head. Your biology works the way that it works, which is why you're in the position of contemplating hypnosis. It's just biology. We all have it. So what will happen is, because of misperceptions around hypnosis, people will put it off until the pain is so much that, they feel like they have to do something. And that's actually the wrong way to look at it. Hypnosis should be your first choice. So what are some of the misperceptions? This isn't an episode about misperceptions, so I'm just going to rattle them off. People only know what they've seen in movies. They only know what they've seen about stage hypnosis shows, or most commonly, people think that hypnosis is for smoking, weight loss, or nail biting. I mean, yes, hypnosis works for those things, but hypnosis is so much more powerful than that. And I work with people purely on their confidence, their self-trust, their self-love, their self-worth, their self-esteem, being themselves. So many people I work with, they've done all of the coaching, the journaling, they've done therapy. And it's like, I just want to be me. I want to be comfortable being me. I want to be able to hold a boundary, right? So when you put off hypnosis and you're trying everything else first, what happens is you continue to go through a series of repeating patterns. Now, you may make some headway. Gratitude is great. Affirmations are great. Journaling is great. Talk therapy is great. You make headway, right? To the degree that you can influence your thoughts and your feelings from a conscious, analytical perspective, those things help. But if you find yourself getting into a situation where you are reacting in a way that you should not, so maybe you're in a situation, you begin to get angry, and you know that your feelings are out of proportion to what you're experiencing. If you have absolutely nothing to be afraid of being visible on social media through video, but yet you get ready to do it and there's a pit in your stomach and there's a part of you that's screaming no, you have to go put on extra deodorant or whatever, or maybe you just dig your feet in and you just don't do it. You're at a place in your life where you have hidden to the point you can't hide anymore, or hell, maybe you're all the way on the other end of perspective. You're on the other end of the spectrum. It's the end of the day. So you can tell I'm getting a little tongue-tied here. So maybe you're on the other end of the spectrum where you are totally successful. Like when it comes to your business, you can do the things you got to do, but when it comes to being you can't do it. People are going to judge you. You have to deal with the comments from other people. You have to deal with the judgments. You have put yourself into this golden cage where through what other people have taught you or through your observations of the world around you, you have to think, be, and do a certain way in order to be accepted or to excel or to be considered, the top of your game, a winner, a leader, right? This is in corporate. Corporate mentality is based on a masculine paradigm. So if a woman wants to get ahead in corporate, in the majority, I would say all, but it's not all, but almost all organizations, you still have this very masculine energy in the corporate structure. And, we become someone who we're not. And there can be men who have more of a feminine energy. And even for them, being in this culture, they're being someone who they really aren't on the inside. And it creates this disconnect. So it doesn't matter where you are in life. You could be a stay-at-home mom and find yourself in these positions of being concerned about judgment or getting angry really easy, being, frustrated really easy. And it's like, how do I get beyond this? Well, the easy way is hypnosis. Because with hypnosis, it's a very targeted and direct approach to go in and identify these patterns and dismantle the patterns, because that's what's causing this underlying emotion that you don't want, that you don't like, is that your brain has recorded a pattern of events and put a meaning on it, and that meaning generates an emotion. And when your brain sees this pattern around you, it triggers those emotions even when there's no reason to experience them. This is why sometimes people can be in a crowd or they can go somewhere and they can begin to get anxious even when they know they're safe, because their brain has previously identified something in that environment as something to be fearful of. So those feelings come up. Now, I mentioned talk therapy earlier, and I want to be very clear. Talk therapy is very effective, especially with a skilled therapist. But most talk therapy is conscious analytical. It's not subconscious and it's not insight driven. Now, hypnosis isn't a replacement for therapy. If you are dealing with an issue where you should be working with a therapist, then by all means, you should be working with the therapist. But I work with clients all the time who've done years of therapy, EMDR. They've used tapping. They've used cognitive behavioral therapy. They've worked through a lot of their issues, but there's just this little something left that's under the surface. They can't identify it, and they want to move it out of the way. And we connect, and that's what we do. We move it out of the way. In those situations with people who have a lot of intense trauma, it's best to work through a lot of that before we connect and do hypnosis. But for your just general run-of-the-mill things, you're going through life feeling like you're living your life for others. You're always having to people please, and you don't want to people please. You're ready to do the things that you want to do the way that you want to do them, have healthy boundaries in your life, and to feel free. Then it's time to reach out. Let's connect. Let's connect, because this can be better for you. This can be better. You can go through life with a sense of clarity in your mind that you can make choices based on what you really desire, and you will still make your choices in the context of the bigger picture of your life, right? You can still have healthy boundaries. You can let go of anger towards people who've wronged you in the past so you can have a sense of internal peace and still have a boundary that says, you know what? I'm not available for this anymore. I've healed this. I moved past it, but now I know exactly what I'm willing to allow into my life. I trust myself to make the next decision. I can make the decision that I want, and I trust that it's going to be the right decision for me and move forward. The sky is the limit. The only limit that you have, if you will, is your ability to imagine what's possible for you. And your ability to imagine what's possible for you is based on those very same past experiences that created the patterns of your life. There's an old saying, you don't know what you don't know. And we tend to think of that negatively, right? Like when we're talking about someone in terms of their competence, we'll say, well, they don't know what they don't know, excusing lack of knowledge about something. But the same thing comes with what's possible in our life. You don't know what you don't know is possible because your beliefs, your experiences have kept you in this space where you haven't really considered what's truly possible for you in your life. Anyway, so hypnosis should be your first choice, not your last resort. And reach out to me if you are ready to just be able to open up your world to your wildest dreams. Bye now. Thank you for listening today. If you've enjoyed this episode of Design Your Destiny, I would appreciate it if you would head over to iTunes and leave a positive review. When you leave a positive review, it's like podcast currency, and we can increase our reach and get the message to even more people that they, just like you, have the ability to design their destiny. And remember, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform.